Hello, everyone. Welcome into the View House in 10. It's time for the Nissan Football Blitz, and we are having fun. We got Coach Mike Sanford, we got Nate Jackson in the house, and we have got our quarterback for the Denver Broncos, who is
let's go
balling out. But Sean Payton, in his weekly presser on Monday, was like, all right, guys, let's not send him to Canton just yet. So does Broncos country need to pump the brakes, or are we diving in, head first right now?
Don't ever tell a fan base how to fan. That's what I would say. And Sean Payton is right in terms of his opportunity is to continue the development of Bo Nix, but after the performance against a team that was leading a division and had a winning record, the first win of any current team with a winning record, he was fantastic. He played a perfect game. Yeah. And so it is hard to tap the brakes as a fan, and you don't need to.
Okay.
It's been a long time since there's been good quarterback play here, since Payton. This was almost 10 years ago. So, of course, the fans are going to get excited. Yeah. Of course, they're going to be pumping it up, but maybe pump the brakes a tiny, tiny bit. Just don't put so much pressure on the kid. Yeah. I mean, he just had an awesome game. He's continuing to ascend. I think that's going to continue to happen. The whole team's playing well. The reason why he's playing well is because all those guys are playing well. So let's pump them all up. But no, there's a good reason to be excited.
It is exciting times. And like you said, Broncos fans have been waiting a long time. This time, any season where there was a rookie quarterback, we already knew, right?
Yeah.
Like, bless Drew Lock, bless those guys. You were like, nah, you ain't it. So people are excited. But another reason he's playing well, you mentioned the players, feels like Sean Payton's play calling is just perfect fit. Can you talk to me about how you feel like Sean Payton is contributing play calling wise?
He's doing phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was actually one of those games as a former play caller myself where I went back and watched the All-22 and I'm
just
like,
oh God.
What did you like the most?
Chef's kiss.
I just like all the different buildups from previous games, like namely Marvin Mims in the backfield against the Chiefs, and then all of a sudden you throw the wheel route to him. You also utilize him on the Nate Atkins pass as a great distraction. Everything's fitting together really well, and you can tell this is a team with a bunch of hungry players that are invested in buying into whatever they're coached to do, and so far it's been really fun to watch.
Yeah. What about you?
Every team is watching your last 4 games of film and trying to prepare based on that. So the Marvin Mims thing makes teams prepare for it. And then you throw wrinkles off of that and do things off of that, which you saw Nate Atkins wide open for the touchdown. Everyone's contributing. Everyone's excited. They're carrying Javonte Williams into the end zone. Yeah. I mean, this is a team that's energetic. Everybody can get the ball. Bo doesn't necessarily have a favorite target. He's throwing the ball to whoever's open. Sean Payton coaching his butt off. Let's see how he responds, though, after a big win. The psychology after a loss, okay, that's one thing. How are you going to prepare your team after a huge win against a really bad team like the Raiders? Will they be ready to play their best?
I love that you said that, because they were so excited to go in the Atlanta game to prove that they could contest with the Chiefs. It did come down to a field goal. So, Coach, how do you coach your team into making sure you don't slip up against a Raiders team that's not good?
Well, you just have to get back to what got you to this position. You are in a pole position to make the postseason for the first time in 9 years. Yeah. You don't turn the football over. Bo Nix, that's the greatest thing that he's done with consistency since week 2 is he doesn't turn the football over. He doesn't even put it in harm's way. And so you go back to doing what you do. You play great defense. You create more takeaways, and the Raiders, they will cooperate because they love giving the ball away.
Yeah, I think they're last in the league with like a minus 15 in takeaways. They're playing really bad. As a coach, if you want your team to prepare to meet a bad team at their best, you talk about the things they do well. It's going to be hard to find that with the Raiders because they're like bottom 10 in every single metric, but you find the players that are playing well. You highlight those guys. You talk about the things they're doing better than average if you can find that, and you also remind your team, this is a divisional rival. When they see the Broncos come in, their blood gets boiling. Yeah. They find a way to play their best against the Broncos. I mean, the Raiders have been crappy every year for God knows how long, but they always find a way to play the Broncos well, and the Broncos have never won in Las Vegas.
Last time I checked, 0 wins in Las Vegas. It's been a crazy away drought against the Raiders franchise. Yeah. Like, end that drought. Play with your hair on fire to end that drought.
And you totally should. That's obviously significant to fans. Is it significant to players? You never won in this building, man.
I think so. It's a great building, first and foremost. I'm excited to be there. Yeah. It's going to be a really great atmosphere, and I think the Broncos fans are going to take over that building. Oh, yeah. And you want to do something special that this franchise has not done in quite some time, and certainly ever done in that building. And so I do think it's a motivator to players.
All right, I absolutely love it. We're going to take a break. On the other side, we're going to get, what are we going to get, guys?
We're going to key it up.
Nate and Coach are going to tell us how the Broncos get their first win in Vegas. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Nissan Football Blitz. So excited, as we always are, because the Broncos are rolling. We got Nate Jackson. We got Mike Sanford. I like you called yourself an excommunicated coach instead of an ex-coach. So we're going to start calling you the excommunicated.
They kicked me out of the industry.
The excommunicated, which we are thrilled because we enjoy both of you in the media thoroughly. And we love that you get good takes. Yes, good takes.
Well, thank you.
So, all right, so Broncos have not won in Las Vegas, as we were just discussing. Gentlemen, how do they do that? Let's start with Nate.
My key is don't let them think that they can play with you. Show them from the opening kick who the better team is. Step on their neck early. Be the aggressors. Don't let them hang around into the second half. Okay? Coach Shanahan used to tell us when we went, and it was in Oakland, not Vegas, but there would be a frenzy in the first quarter. There would be a lot of energy. If you withstood that, they'd start turning on each other. They'd get frustrated, talking crap to each other, and then the people in the stands would start to melt down. Make them understand who the better team is energetically. Last game, 4 out of the first 5 drives were touchdowns for the Broncos. Do something similar. Drive the ball down the field, score a touchdown early, create a gap, and watch them just fold up shop.
I totally agree with exactly what you're saying. And to add to that, I would say win the turnover battle. That's how you take away the life from an opposing team, is get an early takeaway of Gardner Minshew. His mustache will gladly oblige by giving you the football. And then on the other side, just continue to do what you do. And this is a great opportunity, I believe, for the Broncos to really establish the ground game to a form of consistency. And that's the best way to not to turn the ball over, is stay ahead of the sticks via the ground game. So I think it can be one of those ground and pound. We just absolutely dominated you physically, and that's how we're going to beat you.
I love it. Who is getting the picks? Put you on the spot.
I like a Riley Moss pick.
Okay.
I'm a fan of a Riley Moss pick.
I feel like we need that.
It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And, PS2's down for another.
Always. I mean, PS2's always down.
How about a PJ Lock pick?
Dude,
Yeah, that's what I was
just
about to say.
thinking
Something in
that
the middle,
too.
one of these safeties.
Yeah, I like that.
PJ does have the cast, so it would be even more impressive.
Well, you got to think that the only really elite player for the Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders right now is Brock Bowers.
Right.
So he's going to be matched
What
up
about
on
Max?
safeties.
Max Crosby.
Offensively.
you talking about offensive. Yeah,
offensively
absolutely.
is Max. The only guy that's playing great
Yep.
right now is Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
They're going to over-target him. Play a little bit of bracket coverage on him, and you
Yeah.
can get a quick pick.
I love
Also,
it.
the Denver Broncos are leading the league in sacks. They're going to be putting so much pressure on Gardner and him and his mustache, the village people. He's going to throw that
Young
thing
man.
up. Macho man.
There's
They're
no
gonna be
need
able
to feel down. I said, young man.
Yeah.
I like it.
Every day is Halloween
I'm down-
for Gardner Minshew.
I'm down for like a big man interception. I always like
Ooh.
a big man pick.
Who do you like? Who do you like for the big man?
Give me like Malcolm Roach.
Ooh, big.
Like-
Well, he's already shown coverage
remember,
ability.
Remember the Saints game when he was like
Yeah.
Malcolm Roach and coverage got a PBU?
He might
Yeah.
tip it up to himself, catch it behind his back, and then take it to the Jones.
That's what I like it.
The
to the
Jones?
Jones. I never heard that.
Yeah.
How do you?
Oh, you've heard that
No.
before. You know
No,
about
I have
that.
not heard that.
Oh, yeah. You got to go with
Wow.
the times, man.
Okay, I
Jones?
like it.
Yeah.
The Jones.
Really?
All right, we're going to stew on that. And while we do, we got more Broncos coverage coming up for you tomorrow morning. Welcome back into the Viewhouse Centennial, the Nissan Football Blitz. We got Coach Mike Sanford. We got Nate Jackson in the house. Broncos, Raiders. You know, we love it. We love a good rivalry. The Broncos are already NFC South champions. How about AFC West? Let's start dominating in there.
Yeah.
All right, time to state your case. Peyton Manning is taking a break this week.
All right, I'm going to jump in here first, and we're going to go with the Broncos' biggest weakness is right now none after the game that we just witnessed. I mean, there was no glaring weakness from if you looked at a one-game sample size. But if you look at the holistic nature of this season, I still think that it is like third and long pass conversion ability as an offense. That's what I would say is, do you have the ability to consistently move the sticks if you get behind them?
Okay.
Can I give a quick one?
Yeah.
The deep ball down the sideline. Have we seen one complete deep ball down the sideline? Just a nice little all go. I want to see something completed down the field with these guys.
We're waiting for that Bo Nix, Troy Franklin.
Yes.
Just don't overthrow it. Which, you know what? Maybe it'll come. Maybe it'll come. Look, Mike was ready to go for the
Yeah.
next one.
Hey, man.
You
I
gotta jump
didn't
in.
know if
man.
I was going to pass.
Just
pass
chill
the
out.
paint.
Back off,
That's
man.
fair. That's fair.
Do the Broncos have to have a RB1, or can they go with running back by committee? I think they can go running back by committee,
Yeah.
especially with the addition of Marvin Mims in that joker
Yeah.
role and that package. Julio McLaughlin doesn't like that. He's on the
know.
sideline pissed off because Marvin's getting his reps. But I sat here last week and talked about how Audric Estime was going to – no. It's Javonte. So I think it's really whoever Sean Payton feels good about in that moment, and I think he feels good about all these guys. So I think each game might be a little different, but committee, to me, is going to work.
Yeah.
In this town, it's the Avs goalies and it's the Broncos running backs. Go with the hot hand.
Yeah.
That's
There you
what it's
go.
been.
I like it. Javonte, we keep writing him off, and every time you do, Here he comes.
I'm
right?
back.
Hi, guys.
Hi,
Forget about
buddy.
me.
Yeah.
I'm here.
We didn't. What do you think his future holds, though, Javonte's?
Javonte, it's going to be determined if this is a postseason team
Okay.
and he does something significant in the lead up to making the postseason and even potentially in the playoffs. I think he's around. I think he does get long term.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
I like it
I don't know
very
what
much.
happened there.
Nick Benito is playing at an all-pro level. Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah.
And he is going to go out and play week in, week out for these remaining 6 contests to make sure that next paycheck
Yes.
is going to be a little bit different than his current paycheck because he is
Yeah.
playing as a top 5 pass rusher in the National Football League today.
Yeah.
The Broncos have not had a double-digit sacker since 2018.
Really,
6
Chuck?
years. It's going to happen with Nick Benito. He's already got 9. He had 2 sacks last week, 2 tackles for losses, 2 quarterback hits. He's creating havoc. He's playing with a lot of confidence, a lot of bend, as they say at the
And
hips.
snap.
And snap. Bend and snap. Snap and bend. I just think I'm so happy for that guy because,
Yeah.
you know, he had a rough rookie year. A few injuries, a little undersized. He's really come into his own. Nick Benito is an all-pro.
He saw Coop get paid, and ever since then,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
been like,
But he's going to look at Coop and say, and I raise you.
and I raise
It's
you
going to
some.
happen.
And I
Watch
raise-
it.
If the Broncos could only have one All-Pro on that defensive front,
Wow.
we're making up a scenario here. Okay, Zach Allen or Nick Benito, you can only have one.
3 weeks ago, it was Zach Allen. Right now, it is Nick Benito.
Okay.
He has just been on a consistent trajectory throughout the course of the year. I think Zach Allen's a little bit banged up right now.
Yeah, he is.
And also just the sacker off the edge is the flashier player.
Yeah.
He's going to get more,
Sure.
more eyeballs, more attraction. But absolutely, I think Nick Benito's playing at a very high level, and he is ascending.
Look, if you're the Chiefs, if you're the Ravens, I know those teams beat the Broncos. If you're the Steelers, though, are you kind of keeping an eye on what's cooking in Denver?
Oh, yeah.
They don't want to see Denver playing better. The Steelers got us at the beginning of the season, and there was a lot of things that weren't clicking yet. I think if the Broncos played the Steelers now, it'd be a different ballgame.
Yeah.
They got the attention of everybody because of that defense.
Yeah.
And as a former offensive coordinator myself, I always watch to see who's in our division, who's in the conference, and you say, I don't want to play them when it really matters because the game ends up being a low-scoring affair, and you just don't know what happens.
Right.
That's why I think you get to the tournament, you get to the postseason, you go behind this great defense, see what happens.
Bets are off. Well, and now that rookie quarterback's playing like a vet, so yeah. All right, I love it. We're going to take a break. We'll do some player props on the other side. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back into the Nissan Football Blitz. Time now for some player props, of course, when in Vegas. This one feels easy to me. Bo Nix over under 215.5 passing yards. Beep.
Don't even need to say anything. Yeah, it is. The Raiders' secondary is so
Not good.
stinking depleted with injury. Their top 3 corners didn't practice this week.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah, they're Garbo. They and
Greta Garbo?
And what are they even playing for? Right now.
They're playing for Shedeur Sanders.
Exactly.
They are
so there's
busy
this
playing
weird
for.
So that means be
psychology
back.
going on with the Raiders. The only thing they have is like that they hate the Broncos.
Yes.
But other than that, Garbo.
Garbo.
Greta Garbo.
Brock Bowers, kind of the only redeeming quality of the Raiders right now is Mr. Bowers. His over-under 57.5 receiving yards.
I go over on that.
You go over?
This is a franchise that is so hell-bent on getting him the football,
Yeah.
and he is just delivering. He's a great route runner. The other thing he can do, he is 7th in the National Football League at any position in yards after catch. The dude is absolutely a machine, and he will create some problems.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to go under on this one because I do think that the game plan is going to be to stop him. And you talked about putting guys, multiple guys on him, bracketing him, things like that. He's really your only threat. I think the Broncos defense will be geared around stopping Brock, and I think they'll hold him under 57.
I'm going to go under. If you look at that first game, he was doing well. Then they put Surtain on him, and he was done the rest of the game early in the year. All right, 20 seconds real fast. Devon Vele, 16.5 longest reception, over under.
I'm going over. I think that he's going to get a 50-50 ball down the field
I love it.
and come down with it.
Yeah, I talked about that ball down the sideline. Throw it to Devon Vele. Every single time you throw it to him, he catches it.
Strong hands.
Sweet.
Strong hands.
All
Strong
right.
and short
Smells like
legs.
cabbage.
I love
32
it.
inch
Guys, that's the show. We'll see you next week.
That was Football Blitz, presented by Nissan.